Okay, so we're going to be talking about something a lot of people find, a lot of chefs find quite difficult. Okay, so we're going to be talking about um, interview and a trade test. So basically, what you should do during those things. For the interview, well, I recommend you go into it not being nervous. You know, know yourself, know your limitations. Do not overpromise, and talk about your experience. That's basically what they're gonna ask you during the interview, and I'm sure you've had that. So just be honest and do not overpromise, because if you do, and they think you can do something that you cannot, it's not a good thing. It's not good for your reputation. So yes, during the interview, be very honest, be confident in your own capabilities. If you're not confident in something, then just be upfront. Okay. Usually, that applies to not just for chefs, but all, I think, all other professionals, right? So that's it. That's it for the interview. Just be honest, be confident, do not overpromise. Okay. Now we go on to the next thing, which is a little more tricky. In the industry, we call it the trade tests, right? So during usually the interview happens first, and then if they like you, they ask you to come for a trade test. So I'm going to be talking about what I look for during a trade test. Okay. So number one, what am I looking for? Number one, I'm looking for the basics. What are the basics? Well, knowledge about cleanliness, knowledge about safety. Did the person wash his hand? Did the applicant wash his hand before anything else? Is he or she wearing a clean uniform? Does he or she have a side towel? Is he or she prepared? And usually before a trade test, I ask the person to either come with ingredients or use the ingredients that we have. So if you were the ones bringing your own ingredients, is everything well organized? Is everything labeled? Is everything sealed properly? So those are the basics. Yeah. So it depends on which level you are. I do not care. Even if you're a line cook, those things are really important. Okay, what's next? Attitude. Okay, forgot to mention this in the interview part as well. For the interview part as well, and for the trade test, I look for attitude. More than anything else, I always look for a chef or a cook that is trainable. What do I mean by that? Someone whose attitude is not the best. I don't need to learn anything. No. Even if I'm a head chef, I still have things to learn. So you must have that attitude of being teachable and the attitude of wanting to learn more. And that is the ultimate thing that I always look for. Okay, now that's number one. Okay, because why am I looking for attitude? Because I can teach. If a cook or a chef is teachable, I can teach skills if he has a good attitude. But if a chef is good, but he's not teachable, he's not easy to work with, I'm not gonna work with you. I'm sorry. No matter how good you are, I'm the type of chef that likes to work as a team. And if you want to be a superstar, go be a superstar somewhere else. So I think that's really clear. Okay, have a good attitude. Okay, be teachable, be humble. We all have things to learn, and we go into a job wanting to learn, get experience. Okay, you're not gonna get that by acting like you know everything, because you do not. Nobody knows everything. All right, now let's go to the next part, which is the actual cooking. What are you going to cook during a trade test? Like, oh my god, that's, a lot of, I've heard a lot of chefs and cooks ask me, Chef, what am I gonna do? Ano to? I'm so scared, I'm so nervous. Yes, you should be. But, okay, here are my guidelines. Number one, do not do anything that you have not done before. That's number one. Because you cannot afford to make a mistake during your trade test. Like, you cannot afford, like, if you've never done a hollandaise before, do not attempt it on the trade test. But you can practice before. If you do it before, that's good. But if you're gonna go into it without having done it ever, that's a big no-no. Okay? So, what am I saying? What I'm looking for when someone is presenting a dish, confidence. Confidence because you've done it before. And I am going to see that. Us chefs, we see that. While you're cooking, while you're moving, we see that. Okay? So, we can't be fooled. We know experience when we see it. Right? Okay. What's number two? Okay, number two, do not do not execute a dish that is overcomplicated. It's gonna take a lot of time and effort, but if you can do it at a given time, then well and done. But I recommend that you give out the best flavor and not overcomplicate. Okay, lastly, what's very, very important, try to show technique. Okay, what do I mean by technique? Okay, I've had a lot of cooks, chefs come in, and they gave me a stir fry. Okay, what is the technique there? Okay, our home cook knows how to saute. Our home cook knows how to stir fry. So try to show techniques that making a hollandaise or making mayonnaise from scratch. Those are relatively different. I need to see that. We chefs need to see that you're capable of that. So if you haven't done it before, or try to practice it, try to execute a technique that is relatively cheap. So, and when it comes to the creativity part, it's up to you. You can be super creative if you want, but that's a big bonus. But for me, what's more important is that show technique and you're very confident while you're cooking. You're not nervous, you're not fumbling around. You're very comfortable, and I see that you've done it. That's it. Yeah. So there you go. I hope this is very helpful. I'm going to show you a dish that actually I hired from someone a few months. I hired someone a few months ago, and she did a great job with her trade test. And I'll show you the dish. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys what I usually look for when I ask someone to conduct a trade test. So today we just had one, and this was one of the better ones that I've had. Her position is for CDP, and I think she did a pretty good job. Now, what I usually look for when I ask someone to do a trade test is I look for technique, I look for composure, I look for knowledge. That knowledge comes with both of those, and the confidence, of course. This is a CDP position, so I'm looking for something a little bit more advanced. And she was very creative with her dishes. So this is her interpretation of paella. She has shrimp, mussels. She fried her rice in the same sauce. And then this is malunggay sauce, which is actually the best component in all of our dishes. And then she made some scallops with pineapple salsa. Yeah, plating wise, I think she did a pretty good job, and she showcased a lot of technique with her sauces. She also made a very good romesco sauce, and yeah, the scallops are always difficult to cook. It's a difficult protein to cook. So yeah, my advice to you guys, if you're gonna be asked to do a trade test, try to showcase techniques. You know, I personally, I don't really look for anything with flair, but I look for a person's knowledge and their composure in the kitchen. That's more important to me, and of course, attitude. You always have to be, for me, attitude is more important than anything else. You could be, I could teach a bad cook with a really good attitude, but I cannot teach a good cook with a bad attitude. I mean, I can't work with that person. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I look for. So always be humble, and also have composure and have that confidence. Like, I mean, I know it's nerve-wracking, but the more nervous you are, the more it's gonna show with the food, with the final product, with how you move. You know, don't be afraid to express everything that you've learned all of these years. I mean, if you think something is, or you think something is right, and then what we're practicing is not right, say it. You know, it shows that you know what you're talking about. It shows that you know that you're willing to fight for what you know is right. Just wanted to show you guys and let you guys know one of the important aspects of our industry. Hope you guys learned something today. Peace.